Hello again and welcome to Ndudu by Fafa.
So, on this particular day, I wanted to boil some rice, but I was just like, oh, I remember those perfume rice that were served in the Waakye leaves. That distinctive flavour that it infused into the rice, especially when the rice is hot and it's served in the leaves. Now I had this, I got this leaf last year, and of course it was dried out and everything, and what I just did was soaked it in some warm water. It revived it. And instead of using my greaseproof paper or parchment paper to cover the rice to trap in the steam, I used the Waakye leaves, and I'll tell you what, flavour, infused, it went straight. It was just incredible, and it just took me back to my childhood. There's this infusion that takes place that's just incredible, because of course the steam absorbs that flavour of the leaf into the rice. So I was like, why can't I emulate that? So this is how this recipe started.
So the scientific name for the leaf in question is Thaumatococcus Daniellii. What a mouthful. We call it the Waakye leaves, buying, and it's readily available in most West African countries. During my childhood in Ghana, it was a common thing when you visit the rice or Waakye seller for them to serve your meal in the leaves, and it had this distinctive flavor. I've subsequently used the leaves in grilling or char grilling my tilapia, as well as these two recipes are already available on my YouTube channel, so do check them out. I'll leave a link in the description box. I've also baked some bread in. That's a recipe that's yet to come. Now, what I love about this leaf is it has this incredible flavor. So it's a cross between lemongrass and a woody taste. So it's so great when you place like the rice or the waakye in, because it permeates its aromatic flavor and that woody flavor into the dish. Now, I had the pleasure of speaking to this incredible lady at the Malamata market in Ghana a couple of years ago, because this is exactly what she sold. And yeah, it was definitely a memory that would last with me or stay with me forever. In the absence of the leaves, you can use your banana leaves as well. Now today I'm going to concentrate on how to cook rice perfectly by using the leaves. Now, of course, you notice that these are dried. Yes, because I bought them about a year ago when I went to Ghana, and they dried, which is great. As a way I reserve it. So using warm water, I soak these leaves in there, and within about 15 minutes it softens up and the flavor is still intact. It's just so, you know what I mean? Now you'll notice that the water looks slightly cloudy because some of the flavors infused in there, and I'm reserving that water for later. Now today I'm using Jasmine Rice, and this is the type that I use. I get it from Tesco's, and the 5 kg does retail between £7 to £8. So it's cost effective, and this could last me for about 3 months, most definitely, because I buy a bag like that and I also buy a bag of basmati rice. So a colleague of mine mentioned she finds it difficult to cook rice directly on a stove, and she prefers to use her rice cooker. And I was like, okay, I've never owned a rice cooker. I've always cooked my rice from scratch. So I was like, yeah, I might as well just do this video in a way that, in as much as I'm talking about infusing flavors, I'm also talking about the do's and don'ts of how to cook your rice on the stove. And it's as easy as 1, 2, 3, even if I say so. Now, this recipe is a beginner's recipe, but equally effective. So let's say you're back from work, you've had a busy day, you just want your rice, and usually you would use your rice cooker for that. What I've got here is 1 cup of rice, and you saw the rice in the calabash, so that's the amount, and I'll be talking about measurements later. Now what I'm doing is I'm washing the rice so the water runs clear. I'm getting rid of as much starch from the rice as I can. That should take you about 3 to 4 attempts. After your 3rd or 4th wash, your water should run clear. Once you've achieved that, place your saucepan on a medium heat and transfer your rice to it. Now, let's talk about the measurements. So I've used 1 cup of rice, and to that I'm going to use 1.5 cup of water. That is all that I do require. Now, if I had soaked my rice for, let's say, in warm water for about 20 minutes, then I would only use the 1 cup of water. Reason is, once you soak your rice in warm water, the rice also absorbs the water as well. And that cuts your cooking time in half and also cuts the quantity of water that you include. Now, of course, add your salt to taste as you do. And I prefer to add some coconut oil when I'm steaming my rice. I like the flavor that it offers, and especially when I'm cooking jasmine rice, it works perfectly for me. So I'm added 1 tablespoonful, as you can see here. But the coconut oil that I've used here is an organic virgin cold pressed coconut oil. And that just works perfectly because that has that incredible flavor. So to that, I'm now going to be using my leaves that I've soaked in water that is nice and soft, and I'm going to cover this nicely, as you can see here. So I'm just going to make sure that I cover the rice completely. It doesn't matter if you see some of the rice on top, because I'm going to cover this and I'm going to trap in that steam. Now, this would cook in about 20 minutes. So for the first 10 minutes, I place it on that medium heat just to allow the rice to boil, and then I reduce it to its lowest setting. Do not touch it for that 20 minutes, because after 20 minutes, you end up with this beautiful fluffy rice, and you can just see that the leaves have infused their flavor in there. So you've got that jasmine flavor, you've got that coconut flavor, and now you've got this sort of lemongrass woody flavor infused into this rice. So to the plain eye, it's just like, oh yeah, that's just steamed rice. But you need to taste this, and then you would see that it's not any other rice. So it's not any other food. It's Ndudu by Fafa.
And this is what Ndudu by Fafa is about, you know. I think about the things that you might have forgotten. You know, those memories that warms our hearts, that makes us like who we are today, really. Reigniting those. Why not?
You see, the perils of living in the diaspora. I don't have loads of these leaves, so I have to make sure I'm recycling them as well. And hence, I'm still using those 2 leaves, and I'm going to serve my rice in them. So the rice is hot and steaming. I'm going to eat and I'm just going to wrap it, as you can see here. So what happens yet again is whatever oils that is left in the leaf in terms of the flavor, that lemongrass woody flavor, it will still infuse into the rice. Now look at this. Tell me this is any other food. Emuni mako si molwai ko dam da kadaka antokbea. O no mo enje kumi. Ina je hwe mo yi. Enwe mo no, no yi kro. And this is also another recipe coming up where I made this whole mafe stew, a peanut butter stew, which is synonymous with the Senegalese. And I can't wait to show you guys, because I'll tell you what, it's an incredible recipe considering in Ghana we have the nkate. So it's similar, but I also do like the flavors and textures of this. So this with the rice, with that lemongrass woody rice, is just. And I've also served it with this beautiful beetroot salad, which is also a recipe that's available on my YouTube channel. So you need to watch that. It was just incredible. Now, this equally works as a perfect vegetarian dish. If, you can take the eggs out and you've got that perfect textured flavor packed dish there. Equally, you've watched, if you haven't, then you have to go and watch it, my egg stew. Now that egg stew recipe, Charlie, it did biankasa. And I served this dish with the rice. I served it to my cousin and he loved it. He came to my house and actually was asking me if I had Uncle Ben's rice. I was like, what? I don't do that. So of course I steamed the rice and used the leaves as well. And he was like, oh my God, it's the best thing ever. So Jean-Louis, here you have the recipe. So now you can try it as well. I think my pet name for this is the Ghanaian Natural Plate, because it is in its entirety. You can enjoy more solid foods in there. And yeah, I think it's about time we start singing its praises.
Nigerians use it for their Moin Moin, you'd go to the Waakye seller. Now they actually have plastic bags, and occasionally they might have the leaf. But I guess the reason why most people stopped using the leaves were because of the conditions. And so far as they can actually just be clean and, rinsed in salty water and stuff, I can't see why not. Because, of course, with the plastics, it's not fair to the environment.
And talking about plastics, I have seen a few campaigns now in Ghana where they're trying to get rid of the use of plastics. So I think that the reintroduction of the leaves, of course, being cleaned and kept in a very hygienic way, will definitely help curb that, especially with, dishes that are being served in plastic bags. Now, naturally, I'll be leaving the list of ingredients and measurements on my blog, Ndudu by Fafa.blogspot.com. I'm also on Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as Ndudu by Fafa. So do pass by and say hi. Until next time, take care of you. Be nice, be beautiful. And if you're ever going to change for yourself. Much love. Mwah.